Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. Happy Friday.
Welcome back to our Top 5 Fridays ski industry news videos. It's been 3 weeks since I've done one of these.
Yeah, you're like a stranger to the show now.
I know.
It's awesome.
Thanks for having me on your program, Bob. It's great to be here. It's been busy lately.
Yeah.
I suppose last week I was gone for personal reasons, but we are very busy right now, and I thought we would address this first. We're trying to wrap up the publication of our ski test as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And it's a huge thing. I don't really know how to describe it better than that. It's just a huge thing.
I mean, people have jobs. They know how projects work. Like
Yeah.
This is like our big project.
It's a big project.
So
Yep.
it takes all year.
Yep.
And then there's a big push at the end. It's not
Yeah.
like it just happens overnight. So
Yeah. And then for a brief moment, we're like, yay, we're done.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a meeting about 2026 Elan skis like the next day.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh. So it begins. But no,
Don't act like it's the worst thing in the
no,
world.
it's great. I was just going to say it's a great problem to have. We love what we do here. Really trying to wrap that up soon. Our original date is next week. I don't know that we'll hit that or not. Time will tell. We'll be close.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can pretty confidently say that it'll at least be out within the next couple weeks. So keep an eye out for that. And I don't really have anything else to talk about aside from the news.
Let's do the news then.
Okay. As Matt, our esteemed colleague, pointed out, I think in topic number 3, this is a slow time of year for news. That's it. We're done. There's not too much ski industry news going on right now. I would say that is exacerbated by the Olympics. Is that the right use of that word?
You're close. I think people know what you're getting at, but
Sure.
we're like the ski news has been buried by the Summer Olympics,
Correct.
which I think is great because Summer Olympics are sweet.
Yeah, should we talk about that first?
I don't know why it's not topics 1 through 4.
Yeah, all right. So this is bonus Jeff and Bob impulsive topic, point 5. We'll say this is topic
Sure.
point 5. Olympics. They're
Yep.
fantastic.
It's great being in a house full of girls, my wife and 3 daughters, and the gymnastics for them is just like,
Yeah.
they are just enormous Simone Biles and Suni Lee and Jordan Childs fans.
Yeah.
Like, they are just over the moon starstruck. It's pretty cool to see.
I mean, who isn't an enormous Simone Biles fan?
I don't know. Pretty incredible.
Actually, no, there are outspoken people on the internet that are not Simone Biles fans, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But it's neither here nor there. No, I've been having a great time. What's your favorite event so far?
They haven't happened yet. I love the track and field. We were talking about this earlier.
I was watching women's 100-meter prelim heats this morning.
Yeah.
Because track and field has officially started today.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling you, I like the 400 the best.
Yeah.
I think that's like kind of the purest race, like 1 lap,
Yep.
go get it.
Yep.
And I like the team sports too. I like the
team
soccer. I like the
Team
basketball.
sports are fun. Yeah.
I was watching some doubles tennis yesterday, and that was really entertaining.
Yeah.
They're very good. And then there's some duds. The mixed doubles table tennis, I feel like, is a little weird.
There's a lot going on.
The new stuff,
mixed
like
doubles, table tennis.
yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff.
So far, I've enjoyed watching a lot of it, but I really enjoyed watching men's and women's, but mostly men, just mostly because I know the athletes more. The skateboard street.
Yep.
That was good. And a lot of the enjoyment that I took out of it came from the mindset and just thought process of who would have guessed? Look how far this sport has come.
These punk kids.
Totally.
Yeah, now they're Olympic athletes.
Olympic athletes
Yeah.
with coaches and nutritionists, and I just think that's really cool. And maybe that means a lot to me because it has also happened in park skiing,
Right.
where park skiers literally used to be shunned.
Yeah.
literally they were like told to get out
Right.
of,
Not allowed.
not allowed
Yeah.
in the snowboard park, and then just like even beyond that, just like not accepted into like mainstream skiing culture. And now it's like a huge driver of really even money in the ski industry.
Say the same thing about Snoop Dogg,
Yeah,
like
well, great,
someone
yeah,
that like
great
you
point.
weren't allowed to listen to when you were
Yeah.
younger, and now dudes
Yeah.
dudes everywhere in the Olympics. Like it's pretty cool how these things happen, and
Yeah,
like as a parent, it also kind of preps me for the years to come as my girls enter teenage years of where to
right.
limit their exposure to certain things, if anything. But
It's very interesting. Like your daughters probably don't know that Snoop Dogg was on trial for murder.
right, yeah, and like
Like,
like having them listen to the stuff that I listened to coming from Snoop Dogg
Yeah.
growing up, like not into it, but
right. It's very interesting.
yeah,
You got to respect his ability to navigate modern pop culture.
well, yeah, but he's also like he's the parents' age, like the
Totally.
Olympians' parents' age.
Yeah,
now.
good point. Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
they all identify with him,
Right.
which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah. It is
But-
fascinating.
Great move, great pickup from NBC there.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. So that's it for bonus topic point 5. We will circle back to the Olympics theme before the end of this.
Yay.
But yeah, we'll get right into the week's news now. It is a pretty short week, or this video should be relatively short because there's not a crazy amount of topics, or not like super in-depth topics. Topic number 1, the FIS has a new wildcard rule that provides an immediate path to return to World Cup competition for Marcel Hirscher.
Directly contradicting what Matt and I talked about last week. So
Because I edited it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. We've talked about that a bunch, like how
Right.
it'll be interesting watching his return, and
Yeah, how do you come
he's
back,
going out, like going through a different path in different country and stuff like that. But the new rule is you will be immediately eligible to return to World Cup racing if you have retired between 2 and 10 years ago.
So check.
Yep. And you have won a World Cup overall globe, or won a singular event globe including 5 individual victories, or won a World Championship gold medal, or won an Olympic medal, of which he has done all of them.
Right. And like, has anyone else?
I don't know.
Like it's a pretty specific.
Yeah, there
set.
must be, because those last 4 are all ors.
Yeah.
It needs to be between 2 and 10 years
Yeah.
plus one of those 4 things. Which my immediate reaction was like, I want to see somebody who retired 9 years ago be like, hold on,
Yep.
you just made this rule. I'm going to start racing again.
Right. I'm a World Cup skier now.
Yep.
9 years ago, I have an Olympic gold medal from whatever the Olympics were
Yeah.
9 years
Yeah.
ago, and
Yeah.
now you're back in.
I want to see somebody take
Yeah.
that angle. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Not that I think there was any question whether he would be returning or not, because he was going to make it.
Yeah, and he was gonna get back on that circuit
Yeah,
anyway. but
Exactly. So really doesn't affect anything.
No,
but
why
it
waste
is-
the time?
It is very interesting. Yep. And then second topic of the week, this one's a little bit vague, but it's kind of interesting and definitely a theme that we've been experiencing in the ski industry. The Outdoor Industry Association and Outdoor Retailer Trade Show, which is run by Emerald Expositions, have ended their long-standing partnership. I feel like people are aware of this. I'm sure it's not just true in the ski industry that COVID kind of, I don't know, put a pretty significant damper on trade shows. And at least the ski industry has never really recovered. So historically, the trade show accounted for 70% of the Outdoor Industry Association's revenue, which gained them or earned them around 5 million, or kind of at the peak around 5 million a year. In 2021, that dropped to 642,000. That then bounced back to 1.69 million in 2022, but still a drastic shift from what it once was. And their new business strategy is focused more on membership dues to account for that revenue.
Another subscription program?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I don't even know if we're
members. Yeah. I don't know either.
That was another takeaway when I was
Yeah.
reading through this. I was like, what are these, like, what did they do? And like, if we are members, I hope they do something for us.
I don't understand corporate structure at all.
Like we attend the trade shows sometimes, but now it's so different. I mean, there are new trade shows. It's kind of like the trade shows now are I guess they were always sort of private, but now they're like more private. But like, I don't know. I don't want to get too into it. But you've never gone, right?
No.
I've done all the things.
Yeah.
I used to go to SIA. I went to Outdoor Retailer, however many years it was Outdoor Retailer, and now I'm on to whatever it's called, Winter Sports Market.
It's just, I mean, it's an old school way of kind
totally
of shaking hands and doing business and face-to-face stuff that doesn't really, like, that's not really where we're at right now.
Yeah.
So makes sense that
I agree
that things are shifting. Like,
yeah, I agree. Although I would admit that this past season at the one trade show that I did attend, a lot of brands were there, but not all brands were there, and I did find myself wishing that the brands that weren't there were there.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like one-stop shopping.
Right.
And in my mind, I was like, well, man, I wish I could like go see X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Anyways, it will be very interesting to see what happens over the next 5 to 10 years in our industry and beyond.
And information is so readily available. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're part of that distribution,
Yeah.
you know, so there's information out there. It's not like you have to physically go to see this new information.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be available
Right.
digitally at some point relatively soon.
And in our case, typically before.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see a lot of next year line previews and information in like September, October, November, and then trade shows typically happen in January.
Yeah.
So yeah, there has definitely been a shift. That's all I got for that. Third topic of the week. This is an article from this past winter that was on Skiessentials.com that really dives into the question of, is skiing too expensive? And this particular article really argues no.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
Like,
correct.
I think that if you ask that question, you know, Family Feud style, we asked 100 people, is skiing expensive? Yes.
Family Feud, I think they get their 10.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's ranked, but you know what I mean. If you asked 100 people if skiing is expensive, the vast majority are just going to automatically say yes.
Yep. And you know what? That would be a great experiment, because that's kind of what this article is focused on, is like the perception of skiing costs. And I think the Family Feud game would work really well of like, if you surveyed a bunch of people and asked like, what do you think the average lift ticket cost is?
Yeah.
And I bet it would be skewed expensive.
Yeah.
So there was one analogy in here that I thought was really cool. He kind of compared skiing or buying a lift ticket at Breckenridge to buying a Mercedes, or at least your perception of those prices. So you can absolutely understand somebody walking up to a ticket window at Breckenridge and saying, how could anybody afford to ski?
Right.
Like, this is ridiculous. But like the equivalent to that as an automobile consumer is walking into a Mercedes dealership and like going over to the AMG section and being like, well, I don't have $150,000. How could anyone afford a car?
Right.
And of course you can go buy a car for $5,000.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a brand new Mercedes AMG.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was a good analogy.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't have to be expensive. And I think that the other one, just looking in these smaller places, especially if you're an entry-level person, like, you don't need Breckenridge.
Right.
Like,
if anything, you probably don't want or might benefit more from somewhere else.
Yeah, but their marketing department's really good.
Correct.
And they get you in there, just like Mercedes. marketing is really good, and they
Yep.
want you to get that top shelf item.
And that was kind of the conclusion of this article, is that it's less of a price model problem and more of a consumer education problem.
Yeah, I mean, like Bolton Valley and Cochrane's,
Yeah.
20 minutes down the road from us, like they don't have gigantic marketing departments.
Well,
so
and like
they don't,
those are the two closest places to ski to the biggest metropolitan area in Vermont.
in Vermont, yeah,
And they don't get near the traffic that Stowe does.
right. And you can go ski Cochrane's on Friday nights for like $12 plus dinner.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty good dinner too.
and they have free rentals, or at
Yeah.
least they did in the past. So if you show up and you don't have anything, you get $12 for rentals and a nighttime lift ticket and dinner. Like, it's unbelievable.
Also, if you show up and they don't have free rentals, it's Bob's
My fault. I'll pay for your rental. But yeah, there's these small feeder areas all over the place that's what they're for.
Yep. So
And they're so much fun.
pretty interesting article. I would encourage everyone to take a look at it. And then final topic of the week, Propagation Lab's Smart Snow Probe. This was super interesting. I'm not going to form much of an opinion about it just yet. I don't know. I suppose I would have a lot of questions that I could probably answer if I did the necessary research, but
Better to speculate.
yeah, but much more enjoyable, that's for sure. And essentially what this does is it's a probe that you stick down into the snow and it analyzes the snowpack for you. So they're attempting to eliminate the need to dig snow pits to assess snowpack.
Mitigating human error in snow pit digging. If you're not properly trained, the hope is that the digital probe is going to be more accurate.
Yeah.
But I think your hesitation to develop an opinion, I think, is warranted, because is it as simple as being like, safe, no avalanches, go?
Yeah, right.
Like, I think you want to temper your expectations when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, my hesitancy comes from my opinion that I don't think backcountry skiing should be more easily accessible.
You think you got to earn it more by digging a snow pit?
You at least have to know what you're doing.
Downloading an app?
And I worry about things like this and avalanche bags and...
It's also shared data. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Yeah.
So like if you're an app member, then someone else's probe, that data goes to your phone, geo-coordinated.
Yeah.
So you can be like, oh, this area has been probed.
Yeah.
And is your mind going to say it is therefore safe to ski?
I think that would be human nature.
So now you've done none of the work.
Correct.
You've simply looked at your phone
Right.
and determined that this place is safe.
Yeah.
So I worry about that.
Yeah, I worry about all sorts of things. That's why I live in northern Vermont.
Yeah.
And I don't even go in the notch when it's avalanche danger.
Yeah.
So anyways, it is very interesting, and in theory, this would be great.
Yeah, if you think about, I mean, technology certainly makes things safer.
Right.
Like even automated driving and
Right.
other types of machinery.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's safer because you're eliminating the human error.
Yeah.
Or mitigating.
I just can't help but have some concerns.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's it for news. Lastly, we've got our edits of the week here. This first one's more like a short film. It's from Lang Ski Boots. It's called Eyes Wide Shut. Excellent cinematography.
Yeah, it was really good.
As is often the case with these shorter films. It's about 28 minutes long. And then you think Gerard Garcia.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Back at It. I'm not super familiar with the skier, but he was really fun to watch.
Pretty cool.
Yep. And then we've got Foster Meeks at Brighton in 2020. I can only imagine that this was all filmed after they were shut down.
It looked like the object was to ski on anything but white snow.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Foster Meeks for being super creative. And then this one you have to click through to YouTube. It won't actually play on the embedded video on our website. But Peak Rankings analyzes how the Winter Olympics could reshape the Utah ski scene.
Yeah, that was fun. Just like watching a, I don't know, 20-minute video of all the Utah ski resorts.
Yeah.
in Salt Lake City. It's pretty fun.
And remind me, proposed gondola completion is post-Olympics, right? By like 10 years?
I think they gave it like a 20-year thing, so it would be like 2040.
40s. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I don't think you...
Which is a bummer, because like for me, if we could really coordinate like gondola completion with Winter Olympics, then I'm there.
Yeah, but they don't really have the venue, like this video is like, they don't really have the venue aspects in the Cottonwood Canyons, big or little.
No, true.
So that your gondola wouldn't really help in that regard.
Yeah, maybe at that point there would just be lots of gondolas.
Yeah.
It would take you everywhere. Anyways, that's it. Keep an eye out for that ski test. We will have limited other content until that's done.
Yeah, well, it's August now, so
Yeah.
time to get going.
Yep, but still like lots of 2025 skis that we haven't done like long form videos for that I'm excited to get to.
Yep.
So, and comparison series is right around the corner, probably a month away.
Can't wait.
We're probably a month away from
Yeah.
first comparison video, which is always exciting. So, anyways, hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you at some point next week.
Bye.